Alright, well, here is an update to the Iga Jonin ninja build for the end game. It is OP even in the end game, you will see in lots of examples that I'll post in the video. I'm also preparing an insane tank build for the end game that is as well OP. I mean, you will not believe how good that build is. But let's talk about this build for now. This build can be built with dual swords and single sword. I prefer single sword because of the mystic card that does damage from behind, which I will cover all later. My point here is to do a lot of damage with the killing strike as well. This is what I've learned from my mate Detronius, the guy whose channel is in the description. I used some of the ideas from him. These are the stats that I'm using. Heart is the primary stat for sword and it gives you a lot of ki, which is really important. Body and skill are 13 to wear the set. If you have a smithing text, you can have body 6 and skill 6. You don't have to have 13 and 13. Obviously this is a build only for Iga Jonin, so don't go, oh, you can equip the other set. Yeah, I know I can equip the other set, but this is only for Iga Jonin set. I've used the Yagasaki, Skama, Saka, whatever the fuck the name is, to reduce the armor set bonus requirement. But anyway, let's continue with the skills. Dexterity is the most important one next to the heart. It raises the damage with Kusarigama. If you prefer to play with Kusarigama, I don't even play with that, but it really buffs up your ninjutsu skills, which is extremely important. These are the things that will separate good build from a fantastic build. Magic is 9 to wear the accessory mentioned earlier, Yagasaki's whatever. Spirit is 15 to get all the Ayakomori's bonuses. If you want, you can play dual sword build, then you forget about the heart and put all the stats from the heart in the skill section. But there are some different things that you need to worry about then. You will not have damage from behind buff as much as you have with the single sword. And you're going to have to switch some of the equipment as well. These are the special effects. You can see that damage from behind is at 50%, which is extremely important here. I have evasion key usage used. I also have running speed, which I like. Killing strike damage is at plus 50%. This is the important one. This is when the enemy is on the ground and you stab them and you do a huge amount of damage. So damage from behind and killing strike is what you should focus on. You can get this even higher if you're using Kingo set. But this is Iga Jonin build, not the Kingo build. With Kingo you lose maneuverability. Here we have also ninjutsu damage bonus A as part of the set. Agility damage bonus A as part of the Ayakomori spirit, which is over here. As you can see, everything here is useful. Increases damage dealt to enemies from behind. This is where some of the bonuses come as well. You have unlimited ninjutsu bonus here as well that complements the build. Everything that you need you get from Ayakomori. As for the skills, go for some passives, but the most important one is increased damage dealt when attacking an enemy from behind with a sword, if you're going for a sword build. If not, then just use whatever skills you want from dual sword section. As for the rest of the skills, it's up to you. What I would definitely suggest is that you go get some life from X setup, and from Kusarigama you need damage from behind buff and final blows buff. Close combat damage increased against 5% against enemies with full life. That's also very useful because that's where your sneak attack comes in. And if they have full life, you will do more damage. And considering that you're a squishy bastard, if you stay at full health for a longer time, you're going to as well do more damage if you get some of the passives from the other skill tree. I forgot which one it was. Either way, for the ninjutsu, go for enables you to instantly perform any ninjutsu you use on yourself, because you'll be using some scrolls here. The one thing that I'm doing is I'm poisoning my enemies with poison shurikens. That's easy because I have a lot of ninjutsu power from the dexterity. I also put some resistances to poison and paralysis. I always use Makibishis with ninja build. It's such a fantastic skill. Ground fire traps are perfect against revenants. And then when you just use killing strike when they're on the ground, instant kill. As for the other skills, let's see what I put here. Running speed, that's all, that's up to you. I like it. You don't have to use it. Reduces ki used in an evasive roll, that's a really important one. Use supine catwalking to clear out the levels if you want. Power pills are essential. Increased ninjutsu capacity is essential as well. You can also go for buffed recurrent damage from poison and fire, because we are using a poison as well here. As for the magic, you can choose to extend the duration or go for instant casting. It's up to you. From the magic section you only need weakness, scroll, and that's about it. If you want, you can go Carnage for even more damage, but then you're risking taking really a huge amount of damage, so I don't know if you want to do that. Power Pill is pretty sufficient here. And this is how my item shortcut looks like. You've seen everything that you had to see. This is the equipment section. You can see that I'm wearing Atagi Sadamune as my main sword. On your sword, try to get damage from behind and killing strike damage. Atagi Sadamune is also part of the Kingo set, so you can see that I'm benefiting by having more killing strike damage, plus 15%. Everything else is part of the Iga Jonin set, so that we get the full bonus. I also have Raven Wing Rifle to get some damage reduction from the Yatagarasu set, and also Warrior of the West Bow, so that I get also a couple of percentages in damage reduction from the Warrior of the West set. If you're not going to use your sword, if your preference is Kusarigama, then focus the special effects on your Kusarigama. I prefer my sword, that's why I put all those damage from behind and killing strike damage special effects on my sword. I don't want to bother with Kusarigama. As you can see, my equipment is nothing special here. I haven't even bothered too much with the special effects. It's not highlighted here because I've switched in the meantime to another build and I don't have the necessary requirements to wear this set, but it doesn't matter. This is how the build should be. Wear Yasakani's Magatama, obviously, to reduce the set requirements by -1. The second thing you can equip is increased damage to poisoned enemies or increased water damage, because Atagi Sadamune is water damage based sword, or you can just use something that increases elemental attack damage in general. So depending on what elemental damage you're using, your damage will stack with the charm or whatever you're equipping. Up to you. So either go increase damage to poisoned enemies or increased water damage or elemental damage. If you want to go for the dual sword build, then you should remove the Atagi Sadamune, obviously, and go for the swords from the Master Swordsman set or dual swords from the Justice Ministry set. I think there's one more set, but I can't remember which one is for dual swords. It's up to you really what you want to do. If you go for dual swords, you choose whichever set you want. You don't even have to go for the set bonus. You can go with something that's on its own, as long as it has killing strike damage, damage from behind bonuses. Alright, now let's talk about the fights. What you do here is simple. You put weakness on your enemy, you put power pill on yourself. If you want, if you're going for the poison, you spam sure hands on them. And when they are poisoned, when poison status builds up, then you're going to do increased damage if you have equipped your accessory. Cold troops are there to slow down the enemy. Sorry, Makibishis. And that's about it. It's really that simple. It's not even a complicated build. as long as you play with your special effects, and you can see how easy the bosses are. This is, by the way, everything on Way of the Strong Demon King revealed. Everything in this video you see, every battle is on the Way of the Strong, obviously. Look at the damage. It's absolutely beautiful seeing this type of damage being done. You have poison to deal with the enemies that are easy to poison. You have ground fire traps to deal fire damage to the enemies that are weak versus fire. You have everything that you need. You have a sword that does water damage. If you're using it, that is, if you're not using Kusaregama. I mean, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful build. If you want a ninja build, this is, I think, the best Iga Jonin build that there is. If you do these type of things, it's very hard to upgrade upon this. And as I've said, it only is for Iga Jonin set. I know there are other options, but this is only for Iga Jonin, for people that want to play with Iga Jonin set bonuses. Well, enjoy the rest of the fights. I will put soon OP tank build for the end game. You will see that. That will be insane. I have already everything prepared. It's going to be very soon after this, and then it's time for Torment. Start recording Torment. Thanks for watching. See you soon.